today because yesterday where we left from there. So the trophic level, various trophic level which we were doing yesterday, we did the first trophic the first pyramid, and that was pyramid of number. Then we were doing the pyramid of biomass, in which I told you what is the pyramid of biomass in case of ocean ecosystem or sea ecosystem, where it is inverted, then inverted in case of pyramid of biomass in case of ocean ecosystem, it is inverted, like we have the phytoplanktons. These are phytoplanktons on which a number of fishes feed. So this is inverted in case of this. These are fishes and these are phytoplanktons. Phytoplanktons feeding on fish. So like here, the number in your book which is given is 4 and this is 21. So this is inverted in case of ocean ecosystem, the pyramid of biomass. And when we consider the grassland ecosystem, in the grassland ecosystem, the pyramid of biomass in grassland ecosystem, it is upright. And the example which I gave you, that was of like this. This is the first trophic level. Then we have the second trophic level. Then we have the third trophic level. And finally, we have the top consumer or the second consumer. Here, I told you that let it be carrots or carrots or vegetables, any, because the rabbits, they feed on carrots. So I've written here carrots, rabbits. Rabbits are fed upon by fox, and fox finally lion. So the number decreases as we move towards the top consumer. This is primary producer. This is primary consumer. This is secondary consumer. And this is tertiary consumer. And the number which is given here is 609. If this is 609, the rabbits which are feeding on them are 37, and the fox which are on them are 11, and here 1.5, and I write here 2 because 0.5 has nothing to do with it. So this is pyramid of biomass in case of grassland ecosystem. So this is upright. What type of pyramid it is? Upright. And what type of pyramid it is? It is this one. It is inverted. Then I told you the third type of pyramid, the third, not the type, the third type of ecosystem. When we talk of tree ecosystem, tree, what happens in case of tree? As I told you, there is one tree in the tree ecosystem. What can we find in this? There is one tree, or we have the tree like this, and on this single tree, this single tree is inhabited by a number of insects, a number of birds, a number of insects, and a number of squirrels also live here. So this is inhabited by squirrels, birds, and insects. So this is inhabited. These organisms, they depend on the tree for their nutritional requirement and for their shelter. They are always more in number because tree is single, and single tree is giving the shelter and food to a number of squirrels, to a number of birds, and to a number of insects. So their number is always more than this, the producer here. Producer is less in number, and the number of organisms which inhabit this tree for food, for this shelter, are more than this. Then we come to the third trophic level, In the third trophic level, we will make those organisms which depend on the second trophic level. So what depends on the second trophic level? It is another, the larger birds and the snakes. They feed on this. So this is always less than this, because this will be less than this, because one snake can feed on many squirrels, one larger bird can feed on many smaller birds, or one snake can feed on many insects. So their number is always less. Now this tree ecosystem, if we see, its shape is neither upright nor inverted, it is spindle shape. This is spindle shape. So the tree ecosystem is spindle shape when we talk of pyramid of biomass. Now we come to the third pyramid, and that is the pyramid of energy. The third pyramid is pyramid of energy flow or energy. So I'll make that for you. The third pyramid here, this pyramid is also upright. This pyramid is also upright. That means it will be like this, upright position of the pyramid. In this pyramid, we have this, the first trophic level, like here, the first trophic level, the primary producer, they get energy, which they get directly from the sun. This is the first trophic level, which is, after this, we have the second trophic level. After this, we have the third trophic level. And then we have the fourth trophic level. So now, here, these are primary producers. Primary producers. These are primary consumers. These are secondary consumers. And these are tertiary consumers. So we have this, the first trophic level or the primary producers, they receive the energy, light energy from the sun. So suppose what they receive is 10,000 joules. This much energy they receive from the sun. Now here, to the primary producers, what they get is 1,000 joule. Here they get is 100 joule. And the top, it gets only 10 joule of energy. If you see at every step, the energy, amount of energy which is received is less, always less. This is getting the maximum amount of energy, then it is decreasing at every step, and the top consumer, the tertiary consumer, gets the least amount of energy, which is only 10 joules. Now, here, this pyramid of energy, it follows a law, and that law is 10% law. 10% law. This 10% law you have done in class 10 also. That means the flow of energy is only 10%. That means only 10% of the energy passes to the next trophic level. It means only 10% of energy passes to the next trophic level. Whatever the amount of energy which is received by one trophic level, from that only 10% of energy is passed to the next trophic level, and not more than that. Where does that 90% goes? That 90% is either lost in the environment or is used up by the organism for various processes, like the primary, this is the ultimate source of energy. Okay, so what it gets is, suppose the primary producers here, whatever they get, of that, only 10% is passed on to the primary consumers. Only 10% of that is passed to the secondary consumer. only 10% of that is passed to the tertiary consumer. Rest 90% is lost to the environment. 90% is lost to the environment. 90% lost or utilized by the organism itself for its various processes, which involves respiration, the main process which is involved in respiration. So 90% is either lost to the environment, lost to the environment, or it is used up by the organism itself, by the organism itself. So this is what is 90% law on. This is that is why the pyramid of energy is always upright, and this is the pyramid of energy. Is there any problem in any of the pyramids which I have told you just now, beta? Yes, yes bache, yes bache, any problem in that? Yes beta, all clear, fine. Fine, Paras. Fine, Suksej. So this is clear about the pyramids. So these are important pyramids, the types of pyramids, and I have already told you the concept of pyramid. It was given by Elton. I think yesterday I gave you this name, but today I'm giving it again. Elton. He was the one who gave the concept of pyramid. The concept of pyramid was given by Elton. Elton was the one who gave it. Is of three types: upright, then inverted, and the third one is spindle shape. Then we have upright also. I have given you example of spindle shape also, which was tree, and then I have given you the example of inverted also. So these are the types of pyramids which we have in our syllabus. Now we come to the next topic, which is ecological succession. So the next topic is ecological succession. This is also a very important topic. Many a times the question has been asked from this ecological succession. Now, what is this ecological succession? Ecological succession is the changes in the ecosystem, in the structure. What changes in the ecosystem? It is the structure and composition of the ecosystem. And this change is brought about by the organisms which are living in that ecosystem. So we can say changes, changes in the structure and composition of the ecosystem brought about by the organisms living in that ecosystem, brought about by the organisms living in that ecosystem. So this is ecological succession, that the structure and the composition of the ecosystem changes. And who brings these changes? The organisms which live there. Now this particular ecological succession is of two types. Either it is primary succession or it is secondary succession. So first type is primary succession. And the second type is secondary succession. So we have two types of successions, the primary succession and the secondary succession. Now what happens? When this succession starts, when this succession, that means the change in the ecosystem starts, the species which starts this change, the species which starts this change, those are known as pioneering species. So pioneering species, they start this change. The pioneering species, they are responsible to start the change, and those species which bring about, which start the change, we'll say the succession. The species which start the successions are known as pioneering species. Pioneering species. So what are these pioneering species? These are the species which start or which initiates the process of succession. They are known as primary pioneering species. Then we have another species which is climax species. Climax species. Climax species, as the name indicates, these are those species which remain there, which are there at the end of the process of succession. So we can say these are the species which are there at the end of the process of succession. And the species which are there in between the pioneering and the climax species are known as seer. So the primary species, the pioneering species, and we have here the climax species. Okay, at the end, the climax species reach, and at the starting, we have the pioneering. In between, we have seer, S-E-R-E. These are the species which remain, which are there during the process. Okay, besides the pioneering and the climax species. Now, what happens that this can take place in water, this can take place in rocks, and this can take place in land. So when the succession takes place in water, when it takes place in water, succession in water, we call it hydrarch. Succession which takes place on rocks, bare rocks, we call it xerarch, Xerarch, xerarch. And the succession which takes place on land, we call it lithosphere, or we call it mezarch. So there are these types of succession. Now, the succession is of two types, as I told you, the primary succession and the secondary succession. Now, what happens in primary succession? See, we have two types of areas. The one which has a little amount of organic matter already present in it. We have two types of areas. This is area 1 and this is area 2. Okay, here we have, see, there was a forest long before and forest fire took place. And because of this forest fire, what happened? All the area it got nuded, nothing, it got cleared, no forest. But the area which is formed after forest fire, it will have little amount of, or we cannot say little because organic debris can be a lot. Some amount of organic debris, it will be there. Organic debris will be there. It can have some vegetative propagules. It can have some vegetative propagules. It can have some seeds. It can have some nuts. Many things can be left even after forest fire. So this is such an area which will have something to start the life here, which will have some base to start the life. Okay, and that base is in the form of organic debris, vegetative propagules, and seeds. Some base is there. If the life starts in area one, which has been destroyed by forest fire, it's not that life has to start here, because soil is there. It is not soilless. Above all, soil is already there, which is very important to start life. Soil is already there. Some amount of organic debris is there. Vegetative propagules are there. Seeds are there. In area 2, suppose there was a volcanic eruption and the lava has just cooled. So newly cooled lava, newly cooled lava, or we have a bare rock, or newly cooled lava. Now, in this area, there is no soil, no organic debris, no vegetative propagules, no seeds. Nothing is here in area 2. So where do you think, see, all these things which are present here, organic debris, vegetative propagules, seeds, soil, nothing is here. This area 2 doesn't have anything. So if the succession has to take place, life has to start here. In which area you think life will start first, or the rate of origin of life will be faster? Yes, area 1. Why? Because already the base is there. Yes, area 1. I'm getting your answers. Yes. Because already, see, the base is there, soil is there on which the plants can grow. The organic debris is there. The vegetative propagules are there. The seeds are there. But here nothing is there. First, many years will be taken by the nature to form soil. First, the soil has to be formed, because this area is soil less. This area too is soil less. For the life to start, soil is the most compulsory thing. So that is lacking in this area. So first the soil needs to be formed, and the formation of soil will require thousands of years. So the rate of succession, ecological succession, will be very slow in area 2. Whereas it will not be slow in this area. It will be fast. The life will originate, the life will come into existence very fast in area 1, but not in area 2. This area 2 is known as primary succession, and this area 1 is known as secondary succession. I have drawn it wrong, so means opposite. This primary succession example is this, and the secondary succession is this. So I'm writing here 2. This is the example for 2, and this is the example for 1. There it is primary succession, where a newly cooled lava is there, the bare rocks are there, but no organic debris, no vegetative propagules, no seeds, nothing is there. So first the soil will be formed. Then on that, from here or there, the spores, they will come, they will germinate, or the lichens will germinate first. This way, it will take lots of many years. So the rate of succession will be slow in this case. In case of primary succession, the rate of primary succession is always slow, whereas the secondary succession is fast. Now, this is an introduction of primary and secondary succession. I gave you an idea what is primary succession and what is secondary succession. Now beta, I'll tell you few differences between the two, primary succession and secondary succession. Any problem in this? Anything, any query in this, whatever I taught just now? Any query, any problem, any repetition if you want? Yes, bache. Any repetition, any query, any problem? Yes, bache. Yes, beta. Repeat type of successions. Types of successions. Which one? This one, beta. Primary and secondary succession you want? Primary and secondary, or succession in water, rocks and land? Yes, beta. Uh, Primary succession. Yes, this I'm going to tell you now. This is an idea. which I gave you right now. What is primary succession? Primary succession is a very slow succession which takes place on in such an area where there is no base, which is soilless. We can say which is soilless, which is sterile, soilless, biologically which is sterile. This area is sterile. Sterile means which is unable to reproduce, which is unable to form life. So this succession takes place in a biologically sterile, soilless area. This is primary succession. The succession which takes place in a biologically sterile, soilless substratum, we can say, because the substratum here, the base here is newly cooled lava and bare rock. This is example of primary succession. The primary succession, it takes place in a biologically sterile and soilless base or substratum. The primary succession takes place in a soilless and biologically sterile. I'll write here. I'll write afterwards. Right now, I'm just telling you, primary succession takes place in a biologically sterile and soilless substratum. Okay, and it takes a long time. This succession has a long duration because it is soilless. The soil has to be formed, the base has to be formed. So the duration of primary succession is long. It takes many years for the life to originate in this. Whereas in the secondary succession, if you see, always the some sort of debris is